Hello and welcome to the Knight Ops Tech Nights at the Roundtable. Super excited for this because it is June 10th and we are officially kicking off the Tech Nights at the Roundtable. So, for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Daniel Knight and I am the founder of Knight Ops, where we help businesses create systems to scale their business, primarily using AI and automations, integrating all sorts of different applications into one powerful command center that can absolutely transform your business. So I wanted to start this call off with just a little bit of training and an overview. First and foremost, appreciate you for being here and for tuning in. The Tech Nights at the Roundtable is really designed to be just kind of an easygoing conversation where you can come on here, share projects that you're working on, share ideas that you might have about different tech that you want to implement, as well as get feedback. You might be working on some projects that you're looking for support on, and this is a place for that. You can share things that you're struggling with, running into, and we as a group will get involved to support you with going through and figuring out what issues you're running into, how to solve those problems. If it requires a deeper dive, we'll even put people in the breakout rooms and you can get some more hands-on direct feedback. This isn't necessarily a coaching call, but it's not a coaching call. Like today, I'm going to talk a little bit about scheduled tasks, and it's super important right now because Claude just released Fable 5, and as great and powerful as it is, if you don't have your scheduled tasks dialed in, and you have a lot of them, it can end up costing you a ton of unnecessary tokens. So, like I said, it's not a coaching call, but I have a passion for helping people implement technology and unite with it and become comfortable with it and find ease and joy with it to give them the ultimate life that they want to have. So, for everybody who is here and who is watching this, really just appreciate you for tuning in. And we're going to dig into some scheduled tasks a little bit. I'm just going to cover that part of the session today and record that. And so this way, anybody can watch it after the fact. This is a free call. If you are watching this anywhere outside of actually being on the call, you can register to attend the roundtable discussions at knightops.biz forward slash roundtable. Again, knightops.biz /roundtable. And then from there, you'll be able to register and you'll get the Zoom link, and we'll see you next week. So basically, what I wanted to dig into today is around scheduled tasks. So, like I said, scheduled tasks are a very powerful way to streamline and automate a lot of different things in your business. And basically, what they are, and I'm going to share my screen here, is a series of commands that you have instructed to Claude to basically tell it what you want it to do. So I have probably around 100 scheduled tasks. And what it looks like is this. Basically, you can see the list over here on the left. This is the actual scheduled task window. I've got it sorted by the next run. And so basically what these do is I have these working for me literally all day, all night. And it's amazing because what it's doing, for example, is finding different events that I could speak at. And so it's actually going out and sourcing the applications, filling them out, and then letting me know to review and submit them. I've also got this set up for my AI assistant to respond to my emails, check my emails, forward them to me if I need to get involved. And that's being run through a scheduled task as well. A couple other things that I've got, just, basic replies to handle some of those messages. This one's probably one of the best, like most useful scheduled tasks that I created, which was the Opus Clip auto poster. So Opus Clip, which I'm going to take this recording and put it into, is basically a system that takes videos and chops them up into bite-sized reels and puts captions on it, does it all in brand, and when you have the API installed, you can actually use Claude and Opus together, which is what I've done with this scheduled task. And it runs multiple times a day. And basically, what it does is it finds the videos that are relevant to the topics that it's going to be posting about. And it has a filter not to post anything under, I think it's an 87 score. And it basically rewrites the captions because Opus doesn't do a great job at writing the captions, especially not specific to each platform, and especially not specific to your brain. So I'm also going to touch on the AI brain here in just a minute and why it is absolutely critical to really building out the scheduled tasks in a way that actually makes sense and that you can sleep at night. Because if you go off and just start building these scheduled tasks, some of them, where it's emailing for you, it's reaching out to people for you, it's posting content for you. It's really important that it actually knows your purpose. It knows your mission. It knows your vision. It knows your business. It knows everything about you. And so I'm going to touch on how to kind of implement that without going deep into that. So basically, I have this Opus Clip poster, and it's cranking out content. As you can see, 7, 10, 1, 5, and 8 p.m. every day, it is running this scheduled task and posting across all of my social media platforms. And it's amazing. It works great. The content is good. It finds the best clips. It writes them relevant to the brain that I've got it trained on. It's trained on all my content styles and all of that. And so that one is super powerful. Another thing that I highly encourage any business owner to do is build out a blog for your website and make sure that you have a scheduled task that runs frequently to write blog posts that are constantly talking about your services, answering questions people might have, and actually help you get found by AI search engines. So this one I've had running for about a month and a half now, and it's amazing because I go to my blog, I'll actually pull it up for you, just to kind of show you how freaking powerful this actually is. So like I said, have this blog post running every single day. So this is my Knight Ops blog. I've got a few featured articles, but you can see June 10th, June 10th, June 9th, right? It's 11:20 a.m. and I've done 2 blog posts. And it's searching the web for trending articles. It is using some of the same images, which is fine. The reason for that is because you use the images for alt tags and it just looks better. And each blog post is different, right? And so it basically goes through and it writes out a custom blog post talking about my services, talking about my AI systems audit, and all these things. This is a scheduled task that runs literally every single day, multiple times a day, in fact. And it's optimized for AEO. I've done a lot of research on this to make sure that it's optimized in a way that is really driving results. And when you do an audit on my Knight Ops site, the AEO is solid, and it's largely because of this. And look at this. I mean, we're not talking like just a couple posts here. This is running every single day. Just from right here, June 1st, in the past 9 days, 10 days, it's done all of these posts on autopilot without me. And so that's the power of a scheduled task, is that you can literally have it working for you while you sleep. You can have it working for you while you work, which is, one of my favorite ways to approach it is, duplicating myself and actually having leveraged tasks that are doing things that I wouldn't be doing while I'm in the middle of a meeting. So anyway, just to kind of show you, obviously there are a lot more scheduled tasks you can do. I have multiple different domains that I also decided to create scheduled tasks that are promoting my main website across all of the different domains, which just increases the findability. So I'll just kind of scroll through these and see if there's anything else kind of worth pulling out. I mentioned the Knight Ops brain, which is really powerful, and I'll kind of show you that. But yeah, I mean, use it for social media, use it for writing blogs, use it for sourcing leads, use it for podcast outreach. That's one of the most powerful things that I've got it doing for me. It'll literally go find the podcast like matching platforms, set up a profile for me, reach out to podcasts that I could be a guest on, send a pitch, and I just get booked for podcasts. It's amazing. So anyway, so those are some of the scheduled tasks. Now, here's the thing. It's super important that you have these dialed in because like I said, if you're using the wrong model on these tasks, you can end up burning a lot of tokens. And where Fable 5 just came out, it uses like 4 times the amount of Sonnet. And so, as you can see, there are all these different models here down in the bottom left, and you can change it to your default model, which I do not recommend. I recommend being very specific about which model it's using. Most of the ones you're going to set up will probably just need Sonnet. If you're doing complex coding or things like that, that's what Opus is for. And Fable is basically like a workhorse that'll get after it and just keep working for you. So it just uses so much more of your credits. So make sure you are super intentional about that. And when you're setting these up, that you are not only mindful of the actual schedule, how often they run and when they run, but also which model they're running on. And one other thing that's worth mentioning is the peak hours. So for some of the scheduled tasks that you create, it might not be necessary for it to run in the middle of the day. And so if it's something you can set where it runs at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, where it's not within the peak window, then you'll actually save even more tokens. And so one thing you can think about with this is, even if you have a post that you want to go out at a certain time, you can still tell it to schedule the post for later in the day. I have that running for my Opus clip auto poster. The other thing is, if it doesn't necessarily need to be done at that time, like really just think about when your tasks actually need to be run, when you need the information, when you need it to be completed, and see if you can get it to where you're not running your scheduled tasks in the middle of the day. Plus, it's great to wake up and there's just been a massive amount of work that's been done for you literally while you were sleeping. So super cool, super powerful way to approach the scheduled tasks. I wanted to touch on just a couple last things. Skills, connectors, and your knowledge base. Okay, so like I said, I was going to touch on the Opus or the Obsidian brain. I'll show you that here in just a second. But one other thing you want to make sure is that with your scheduled tasks, that you have different connectors set up and that you're using them effectively. So some of the projects and scheduled tasks I have just need to use Supabase or by prospecting. Like this one basically goes out and finds leads for me. But then there are some other ones. Let's see here. The ones that I use for like social media, these ones actually require Control My Mac, Supabase, Web Search, and Chrome because it's actually searching the web for trending topics that it can post about. And then it's using Chrome to control my browser because there isn't an actual social media integration where it can just post to LinkedIn or it can just post to Instagram or whatever. However, Claude can control your computer. Claude can control Google Chrome. And so if you install the Chrome connector and the control computer connector, then you can have it go out and actually work on your behalf using Google Chrome, using Control Your Mac. And this is only going to be available on desktop. So you can see here when you go to, I kind of jumped into it, but you can get to connectors by clicking the plus button at the bottom and hit that and then go to Manage Connectors, or you can click Customize in Claude Cowork. Again, some of these do require that you have the desktop app. I almost only use the desktop app because it just works really well. But then you can see all of the different connectors that your computer is able to use. It can read and send messages for you. It can control your file system and your Chrome, like I said, and so many other things. So it's really important that you have the connectors set up. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to set up a scheduled task and it might not work in the way that you expected because you don't have the right connectors set up. So that's one part. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is about the Obsidian brain. So I mentioned to you that if you're going to set up this level of automation where it's having conversations for you, it's posting social media content for you, it's doing all of these things for you, you're going to want to set up your brain. And this is what mine looks like. This is Obsidian. Basically, what it does is it will take all of the information that you feed it, and it'll actually create these little nodes that connect to each other to kind of identify like what it needs to do, how it needs to think, how it needs to operate, right? We all have our own brains and we all have all these different silos of things that we're working on and things that we're doing, and they kind of go into different buckets, right? And so think of these kind of as different buckets where, for example, I do a lot of AI projects, right? So all of the projects that I'm working on are connected to this project scope. And then this makes it where, if I'm doing something with, I'll actually just click into it, with any of these projects, there are custom instructions that tell my Obsidian brain exactly how to work. And then Claude, when it is doing some of these scheduled tasks, will actually pull from the Obsidian brain and it's instructed on how to do that, where to look to find the different files, and when to look to find the different files. And basically, it'll jump in here and dig into all of the details that it needs in order to execute properly. So I'm not going to get into that too much, as there can be certain keys and things in there that I don't want you to see. And yeah, and so basically what it does is it just makes it so that I have a centralized source of truth for all of the things I'm working on, everything that I've got to offer, including my social media content. So I've got it trained on different post examples so that it actually knows how to write like me. This is the full post log. It just keeps track of all of the content that it's created so that it doesn't duplicate things and that it, stays fresh and top of mind. And so, yeah, so this is super important. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to do everything that I talked about, I think it's so important that you have clarity around your mission, your vision, and your purpose, and that you install it into your Obsidian brain. And so this is like the document that is like the guiding force of everything. Like if it doesn't align with what I've got in here, it shouldn't be doing it. And this gives my Claude a lot of detail about what I'm focused on. And there are all sorts of other connectors into that. But I think it's really important that you have that defined so that your Claude doesn't go off the rails and start doing things and saying things that you don't actually want because it doesn't actually align with what you're actually doing. So that's pretty much it on the Obsidian brain. I'll just humor you with this time lapse because it's like the coolest thing. Kind of shows how the different nodes were built and when. I started out with some action items, pulled in all of my transcriptions from Fathom, pulled in my social media notes. I set up the connectors to my Apple Notes, Google Drive, and my file system. And I basically told it, hey, this is everything I want you to do. This is how I want you to build it. These are where all the files are. This is what I want you to look for, blah, 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 blah. And I had it just go off and build all of this out. And it created markdown files of everything and did it in a way that it's all very well organized and interconnected, right? And so this then becomes super usable with your scheduled tasks, so that you can have 100 scheduled tasks that are all building to support the vision. Super critical, again, like I said, that you have this built in a way that Claude knows what your vision is so that it doesn't end up going off of the rails and costing you time, money, and wasting credits and things like that. So all of this, the way I want to suggest that you approach building scheduled tasks is to kind of look at it like a cake. You're essentially adding layers. You don't have the full cake until you've added all of the right ingredients, right? That could kind of be the Obsidian brain. And then you've put the first layer on, your foundational layer, right? So what are some of the automations that you want to get set up that will really help you save a lot of time, maybe help you generate some money, maybe save you some money. There might be things that you're doing or paying somebody to do that could actually be costing you a lot of money. And so if you can automate a lot of that, this will help you save some money. And so basically, start there. What will help you save time? What will help you save money? What will help you make some money? And then you start building layers. You start stacking, layer upon layer upon layer to where you have this massively powerful system that is just running and running like clockwork, where you don't have to worry about it. I haven't written, like, every now and then I'll do a social media post, but it's nothing compared to what's going out. I have newsletters going out, blogs going out, social media content going out on all the different social media channels. And I'm talking videos, graphics, images, just text posts, driving people to my lead magnet, driving people to book a call, driving people to the different articles and things that I've got set up. All of it just automated through all of these different scheduled tasks. Yes, I legitimately have like 100 of them. And you can see, like this one, 281, this one, 113. I don't need to look at those because it sends me a daily digest of everything that I need to actually pay attention to. So super powerful way. Use this to stack your marketing, to stack your operations, to stack the fulfillment if you can. But just be mindful about what you're building and when it's being used, because it definitely is important that you still see what is going on. Because I have definitely I've watched it burn a relationship with somebody. Wasn't like a serious relationship. I hate to say they weren't that close, but I'm no longer connected with this person because my AI messaged them too many times. That is fixed, but it's important to be mindful of that because it also messaged people that I really did not want it to message with a very, direct call to action to use my lead magnet, right? And you just don't want that with the personal connection that you've known for a long time, right? Or even worse, somebody that you are just kind of warming up to, right? All of a sudden they start getting these AI messages. Not cool. At least it's thinking for me and it's reviewing their profile and it knows about my meetings and things so that it's not doubling up on certain things and it's trained on how I speak and how I operate and all of that. So, all of this to say, make sure you have the foundation in place. The Obsidian brain is absolutely critical. You don't have to use Obsidian, but that's what I use and it's free. And yeah, it's super important. So get the foundation in place. And then I would say just, start with those three questions. What would save you time? What would save you money? What would make you money? And how can you automate it? So try it out. Literally just plug it in here. All you do is you click on new task and then you tell it what you want it to do, right? So this morning, like I literally created a new email, like automated email that goes out after these calls to let people know to book a call with me. Super simple, but I know that that's going to happen every week now because it's already set up. And your Claude does need to be open. Your computer does need to be on. You do need to be connected to the internet for a lot of these things to work right. So just be mindful of that. And yeah, if you have any questions, if you would like to dig in, maybe brainstorm about some tasks, maybe you have some things that are not working right, or maybe you're looking for a full custom system built to scale your business, I would love to chat with you. You can book a free systems blueprint call at knightops.biz/book. And I'm happy to dig in with you. Or you can check out the systems audit. This is a 10-question assessment that will identify revenue gaps and show you how much money you could actually capitalize on if you installed certain things like this. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested, knightops.biz/audit. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful. And if you, last call to action, if you would like to join us on the next one, go to knightops.biz/roundtable, where we meet every week and discuss topics like this and different ways to implement AI into your business to automate it so that you can focus on doing what you love the most. Daniel Knight, thanks so much.